would have tied for the second longest field goal in NFL history.
Nathaniel Hackett.
You blew it! You had it all and you blew it! You blew it!
No, it was not Melvin Gordon's fault for fumbling at the goal line, nor Javonte Williams' fault for also fumbling at the goal line, or the defense's fault for letting Geno Smith complete every pass during the first half, or Eric Saubert's fault for dropping this perfectly placed Russell Wilson pass in the corner of the end zone. Nay, I say, like a horse. This is 100% a Nathaniel no time for a timeout Hackett. Life is more convenient when you can point your finger at one thing and blame it for all of your problems. So with that in mind, we're going to take a closer look at his decision-making in the final minute of the Broncos-Seahawks game from Monday night. And I will have Big Dick Patreon shoutouts at the end of this breakdown, so stay tuned. Here's what went down. The Broncos are at their own 45, trailing by 1 point with 1 minute and 11 seconds left on a 3rd and 14. Wilson checks the ball off, though, on third to Javonte Williams, one of his 87 receptions last night, and Javonte does pretty much all he can to make it a 4th and 5, which is certainly doable.
4th and 5 is doable.
But the clock is running. The Broncos have saved up all 3 of their timeouts. Nice job. A timeout saved is a timeout earned. But here's the problem. No one is calling a timeout. It's like when a fight breaks out and everyone just whips out their phones to film it instead of flagging down help. What are you doing? 31 seconds burn off the clock before Russell Wilson finally calls the tee. 31 whole seconds. That's enough time for Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady to lead 2 game-winning drives. You can see on the Manning cast that Peyton Manning is making the timeout signal with his hands for that entire half minute. That shit had to be killing him like it did to me. He knows as well as anyone that you shouldn't leave a game in the hands of your kicker, 'cause it's their feet. So this is the dilemma, which shouldn't have been a dilemma, but it still ended up being a dilemma. Nathaniel Hackett's 2 options in this situation are: door number 1, you put the ball in the hands of your $242 million quarterback, who you traded Jamal Adams level draft picks for, by the way. The chances of Russ or anyone converting a 4th and 5 are about 49%, according to ESPN stats and info. Or door number 2, you send out Brandon Mcmanus, who has a career long of 61 yards. That was last year against the Chargers indoors, and as you can see, it clears by a couple yards, but that was a no pressure situation in a dome, and this is at the end of a game in a hostile environment outdoors. And according to ESPN stats and info, the chances of hitting a 64-yard field goal are 2 of 42. 4.8%. The only time 2 to 42 is a safe bet is if that's a lead that the Falcons have and you bet on the other team to win. So as a coach, you should know these kinds of odds, or better yet, pay someone. Pay someone to know the odds for you. Hire a nerd with a pocket protector, taped up glasses, and an oversized calculator. Call him Gus. Every coach needs a fucking Gus. Call me crazy for thinking that an NFL head coach should just know in his gut that a 64-yard field goal is a lot fucking harder than converting a 4th and 5. But we all know what Hackett does instead. He paints the red door black, lets Russ trot off the field while the field goal unit comes on. Peyton Manning and Shannon Sharpe are both rooting for the Broncos, and you don't need to be a body language expert to know that they're extremely uncomfortable with opting for a 64-yard kick over a 4th and 5 conversion attempt. As they should be, as we all were. You can see Jerry Jeudy here, and he looks massively confused. Like, what the fuck? Are we seriously not running another play? Jeudy was like, I will go into motion all season without getting a look like Shermer's still calling the plays if that's what it takes to get back out on the field here. Hackett is congratulating his players as they come to the sideline, like they all set up Mcmanus for a chip shot, when in fact, this is closer to a Hail Mary with your foot, which is also Rex Ryan's favorite prayer. In fact, I think the odds are better on a Hail Mary, especially when you have a devout believer like Russ throwing the ball. I mean, that guy got picked off on a Hail Mary and it still counted as a touchdown. But this is what Mcmanus told the coaches he needed. He said after the game to get the ball to at least the 46 on the left hash and he would do the rest. Seattle ices Mcmanus and he misses wide left, but you can tell he has the distance and then some. So if he can just straighten it out, we might have a chance. Here's the real kick. Mcmanus gets his leg into it, and for the briefest moment, it looks like it's going to be good. He straightened the Peroni, but then, a wistful Seattle breeze blows through and escorts the ball just wide of the goalposts. Hackett's face here pretty much says it all. That was his coaching debut, and he made one of the worst decisions I've ever seen from a coach. And I saw Mike Ditka draft for the Saints. And I saw an unsupervised John Gruden fire off emails with impunity. And I saw Urban Meyer make his Dick and Wranglers more famous than Brett Favre.
You blew it!
And it was on Monday Night Football for the whole damn country to see. So he knows he's about to get torn to shreds on Twitter and on the radio, which is why he kept calling pointless timeouts. He did not want to go home. And hell, even Rick Riley came out of nowhere with a horny metaphor that almost explains how bad of a decision Hackett made here. In conclusion, we did not ride on Monday night. Coach Hackett blew it at the end of the game, but we also shouldn't have been in that position because our two excellent running backs fumbled on the goal line and we settled for field goals on two other red zone opportunities. The real test will be for Hackett to put this game behind him, learn from it, and not make that mistake again.
Otherwise, what was the point?
The opposite of what I do after every video here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. And as promised, I have big dick Patreon shoutouts for new patrons. Broncos country, let's ride. Say it, you have to say it. For upping to $30 there, I appreciate the donation. I broke my promise, I said it last night. CJ DiVincenzo, Alicia HTT Commies, Jay, Cody Wells, Coleman Wealthy, DMC Football, Jerry Salisbury, Uni Alvarado, and Mia Marsden. Thank you guys for your support. Patreon.com/thatsgoodsports. And don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube for more NFL news and breakdowns and whatever the hell else I try.